My name is Eric Swanson. I'm the author of the book Closet. As you can tell, there's some appropriate themes of this book to the Halloween that's coming up very soon right now. I have a website you can look to read a sample chapter. It's at ericjohnswanson.com. You can order a hard copy of my book there. You can there's options where you can have it on your e-reader on Kindle or Nook. So I encourage you to look at those options if you have those devices. Also, it's on Lulu.com. If you want to look at a PDF file. I just want to mention some aspects of the book that are appropriate to this Halloween that's coming up. I mentioned a little bit before, just a whole aspect of zombies. I don't label them as zombies, but they're zombie type creatures where their blood has been drained from them and they're still alive. And yet and also their eyesight is taken away because this demon named Ra wants eyes so that he can get out of his darkness. So he wants to put other people in darkness so that he can escape his. But he can't escape his darkness. It's forever within him. And he can't escape it. There's one part of the book where after Derek and Rachel are reunited, Derek is the main character in the book, and he is the reason why everyone is in this demonic world, because he happened to read a chapter or aspects of this book that a witch left on the sidewalk. So he ended up reading some parts of this book, and his family is taken to this demonic world. And after a while, he gets reunited with his wife after he has to win back the love of Rachel, because she feels abandoned and lonely, and so he has to win the love of Rachel back. And that's something that we have to do at times when we get lonely and depressed. At times we may think that life is collapsing around us and we don't know where to go, and sometimes we have a choice to make at that point. We can choose a way of self and just cave in, I guess, or collapse might be a better word. Collapse to the pressures of life and not look to anyone else for our help. That's a very dangerous thing to do when we look to our own selves instead of seeking the help of others, because as Christians we need to look to others for our help at times, because God wants us to live in community, to rely upon the help of others when we need that help. And when we don't seek that help from others, that's when we have the worst times in our lives of sin, lives of selfishness, lives of much guilt and much regret. And that's what happens with Rachel. She believes that Derek has left him, and so she listens to the witch and the demon, and she starts believing lies. And that's when we're most vulnerable to lies, is when we feel lonely and depressed, and when we feel like everyone has abandoned us. So just to challenge me, that when we feel depressed, discouraged, that's the time that we need to seek out others instead of collapsing upon ourselves and just running away from others. So that's something I have in the book. So after Derek wins the love of Rachel back, they both end up on this path, and there's these zombie type creatures, and one of them takes Rachel off the path, and Derek has to go look for her, and they try to take out her eyes because they realize that they need something to gain their eyesight back. And that's kind of the reason why I wrote that, is because at times we think pleasure or the things of this world will give us what we need in life. We're seeking something outside of ourselves, and we don't know what that is at times. We know what that is if we're Christians, but even if we're not Christians, then we don't know what we're seeking. We think that things of this world will help us to gain our sight back, in other words, to seek out a life of fulfillment, a life of abundance. And so we seek out things of this world, but those things all fail or fall short compared to what God can give us through Christ. And so that's why I have that in my book, just to demonstrate that when we feel that life is down, or we get depressed or discouraged, we need to look to other things. We need to look to Jesus instead of what the world may offer us in the form of advertisement or values. The culture has certain values, but those will all not give us the fulfillment we need compared to what Christ can give us. And so that's why I have that in my book. And so Derek has to fight off these creatures with his sword that he has and get Rachel back on the path. So all that to say is Jesus gives us the fulfillment we need in life and not what the world tells us. My website is ericjohnswanson.com, and I encourage you to read a sample chapter. And as I said before, it's available on Nook and Kindle and as a hardback. Thanks.